Welcome one, welcome all to episode 41 of Press YYZ, your favorite Canadian gaming podcast. You can watch the show live on twitch.tv/PressYYZ every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, or listen to it on your own time on podcast services, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Overcast, TuneIn's a thing, but we're not there, I don't think. It doesn't matter. Wherever you listen, we appreciate however you choose to support us, including subscribing to us here on that there Twitch, using that free sub you get with Amazon Prime. But if you don't have that or any loonies to toss our way, that's no big deal. We'll be here for you no matter what, week by week, to bring you the latest in the world of video games. I'm your host for the evening, Mr. Mitch George, joined as always by the... no, I don't like that name at all. Our Stadia simp, AJ Fraser.
You doing okay, Mitch?
I'm doing great.
You seem a little...
We're also joined by the pretentious film student, Alex Ballant.
Hello, everybody. I'm 2 weeks in a row. That's a new record for me.
Wow. The French Connection, ooh. Alexander Cozina.
Bonjour.
And as always, the phenomenal Nathan McInerney.
Hello. How are y'all doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm overworked. I'm stressed.
You too?
Got a lot going on. And it's all just sort of being a thing. But that's okay, because I'm here, and this is great. And I love getting to do this every week with you guys. So, yeah.
Can I go back to playing Watch Dogs?
Yeah. Well, tell us about the Watch Dogs. Tell us about the Watch Dogs.
So, Watch Dogs Legion came out after last week, and I have only been playing that game, and it is so much fucking fun. In like kind of it's a really shallow game experience, but I'm having so much fun with it that I don't care. Yeah, like really, the play anyone mechanic, it's legit. It really is. Like, I am constantly impressed with like just how in depth that it goes. I literally yesterday I was going through London, and you have to recruit like one of like the Albion, which is like the enemy faction. They're like the security. They're like they're the main antagonizing force, and you have to recruit one of their members. And so they automatically already dislike DedSec. So you have to like do things to try and get them to like you. So I went out of my way to recruit some guy's cousin so that then he'll have some sympathy towards DedSec, so then I can start his mission. Like, it's crazy that that's a sentence that I have just said. I also like it's legit. It really is. And that does so much of the heavy lifting for the game, and why I think it's just so much fun. I haven't really been playing much of the main story. I literally have just been trying to recruit people because it's just that much fun to just build your team.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have also been playing it. Hold on. I'm going to take 1 second because I forgot something off the top. Is that what you're going to say, Cozy?
Yeah, I was about to bring up that we have a tournament coming up this weekend that we need to talk briefly about.
Of course.
Yes, I don't remember. I think I
jumped the gun.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
It's not a problem.
So the dogs were not watching, I guess.
That's okay, because this weekend we will, together with our good friend Alan Spooner Martinez, be hosting the Super Smashin' Breast Cancer Charity Tournament. This Sunday, November the 8th. So if you're listening to this after the fact, I'm sorry, but there will always be next time. We are teaming up with him to raise funds for breast cancer research. So half of all entry fees will be going towards the charity of choice. The other half is the prize pool. The more players we get, the more cash you can win, and the more money goes to charity. So if you're watching live, you can check out the link in the Twitch chat. And if you're not, we will definitely be promoting this leading up to and including Sunday, November 8th.
Yep. For sure.
But
before that, though, Cozy, you are streaming for Extra Life.
That is correct. So I've talked about this the past couple of episodes. So you might already know that this upcoming Friday, November the 6th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be streaming a 12-hour stream on my Twitch channel to raise funds for Extra Life 2020. All the proceeds are going to be eventually funneled to Opération Enfant Soleil, which is a local kind of Quebec-based charity. I had to make some last-minute adjustments to my schedule. Those of you who are eagle-eyed might recall that previously I planned on playing Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness as the second game on my time slot. However, the copy of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness that I got from a pawn shop this past weekend ended up totally not working, and so I have to go and return it. And so in place of that, I'm just going to play more of Pokemon The Crown Tundra, which I'm totally fine with because that DLC has been pretty great so far. Other highlights on the schedule include a Ratalika Games Power Hour, where I'm going to be earning platinum after platinum, play sessions on Mario Kart 8 and Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, where I'm certain that some familiar faces will be joining me for a bit of fun. And finally, a homemade pizza baking session between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., where you will get to see me live make some homemade pizzas. So please, even if you don't necessarily have even two toonies to rub together, go and give my live stream a checkout on November 6th, because it is going to be a lot of fun.
It sounds like a blast. What also sounds like a blast is what we've got planned for this evening. As usual, we're going to go through our usual rigmarole of what everyone's been playing, even though Alex jumped the gun, get into some news. There hasn't been a lot, so we're going to have a real girthy topic of the show where we're going to put together a tier list of all of the PS4 and Xbox One exclusives that I thought were worthy of being on that list, because I was too lazy to put them all on because we'd be here for like 14 hours. And if you'd like, you can actually follow along with us. For those of you who are watching live at twitch.tv/PressYYZ, the link to the tier maker is in the chat. If you want to share your list with us after the show, we'll tweet some of those out, as well as our own list, and it's going to be a good time. So please stick around. But Watch Dogs.
It's very fun. I love the fact that it has permadeath. I think that is one of the best aspects of the entire thing, because it means that like every single one of these characters I really care about. I've already lost 3 so far. Rest in peace, Simon. He was the first one to go, and it's just like I haven't felt this type of experience since Shadow of Mordor, which this was kind of where like a lot of like it feels like a lot of the inspiration came from. And yeah, so, sure. And so like, yeah, like it's a game that really makes you want to have your own headcanon of like why all these people are part of this like DedSec group. And, you know, it's a game that is made to build stories that you can then like and tell your friends. It's an ultimate like around the water cooler type game, except for no one goes to their actual workplaces anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've also been playing this. I don't think I've played nearly as much as you. I've only played maybe 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm definitely farther than.
But I am absolutely in love with the systems in the game. I recruited a gastroenterologist who can like sneak into hospitals and stuff, so she can get into certain places undercover without raising suspicion, who is both flatulent and burps a lot, and that causes her to be discovered by the enemies when she farts and burps. And I think that is amazing.
Yeah, there's so many like weird little mechanics. Like some of the like, there are some people who will just die at some point. Yeah. That they just will spontaneously die as you're playing as them. Like, there's so many like weird perks about every single NPC that you. I
kind of want to turn off permadeath though.
I will be honest, there has been a few times where I will quit to main menu before someone is about to die because I like them too much.
Summer.
Yeah.
So I haven't done that. And there's a mission you get to very early in the game where you have to recruit a construction worker. Construction workers are great because they can summon drones. They're pretty OP. And then like 2 missions after that, I got that person killed. I'm like, no, I need this person. I don't want to have to go find another construction site. And I actually haven't picked up the game since then. But I do want to get back to it. I'm thinking I might honestly wait until after the PS5 at this point.
That's where I'm on the fence about it, because I'm like, I want to keep playing it because I'm having a ball with it, but I know that I'm going to enjoy it so much more on PS5, specifically because there's a lot of really bad loading screens in this game. Every time you switch characters, I've been using the fast travel system a lot, and it sucks when you do a fast travel and then you're like, oh, what type of mission is this? Oh, I'll probably want this guy. And then you have to switch characters as well, so you get 2 loading screens back to back that are at least 40 to 60 seconds long.
They are 100% phone, Twitter check loading screens. Like you are in there for a while.
Yeah, so this game is going to drastically benefit from the SSD for the PS5.
Yeah. Something else that I think we're all going to benefit from is the fact that Cozy's bringing a new segment to the show.
Oh,
Cozy, what is this all about?
Yes, that's right. I have a new segment that I want to bring to the show, and it is called Core Talk. So, as you may all know, I've been making games in Core for the past couple of months. It's a video game creation suite, not dissimilar to Roblox or more recently Dreams on the PlayStation 4, in that you can kind of kit patch together pre-existing models and pieces and whatnot to kind of make your own video games. And just this past week, I was invited to be a part of the Core Creator Payouts program, which means that basically after my games reach a certain level of popularity, I can actually start getting paid for them. I'm basically part of a kind of small elite little group of devs that are able to do this right now. It's a very kind of elite club, elite in quotation marks, because I'm trying to hype it up to make it seem more prestigious than it actually is. But yeah, it's really cool. And as a result, you can definitely expect to see more Core experiences from me in the future. I was definitely going to make another game after The Bread Rises, which is the last Core game that I made. But this has definitely kind of moved up the timeline in that regard. So yeah, and in terms of this being a new segment, definitely expect more Core news, Core projects that I'm working on, Core things in general to appear under the Core Talk banner in the future.
That sounds awesome. You know what else is kind of core to this crew? Pokemon.
Is it though?
I cannot stop playing the Crown Tundra DLC. Cozy mentioned it off the top with his Extra Life schedule. I can't stop playing it. I have other things I need to play, and I can't stop. I got my third shiny today in this new DLC. It was a Landorus. It was a legendary shiny. I was so happy.
Impressive.
Cozy, tell me, why is it that it's put its hooks in you the way it's got its hooks in me?
I mean, I think we talked about this last week, right? I feel like it took the pre-existing, slightly shallow raid battles of the base version of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and they added a degree of complexity to it, and they made it just really fun to do alongside other friends. And I mean, I don't know about you. I'd imagine that the satisfaction of earning a couple of shinies has definitely helped, but that's what it has
for sure. Yeah, I mean those shinies will come, Cozy. I think it's just going to come with playing more and more of this mode because honestly, the random nature of it, even just hopping into it with randoms online, has been so fulfilling. Even though some people are really, really dumb, but at the same time, I can't put it down. I need to. The PS5 comes out in a week. A week. I need to put it down, but I can't.
I will also say, I know that you've also been playing a bit of the story component of the Crown Tundra as well, and I've been enjoying that a fair bit too. I talked about this, I believe, last week about how it's weird to have a mainline Pokemon game where there's like a prominent Pokemon character that is talking the whole time. And it's definitely added a certain it factor to the experience that I wasn't expecting. That's definitely kind of kept me wanting to keep playing. Oh, apparently that somehow activated my phone. I don't know how. Oh, you know what? Why? My iPhone recently updated, and so I'd imagine that probably reset my Siri settings.
Ugh.
I mean, I finished one of the, what do they call them? Legendary quests or whatever it is from the DLC, and I enjoyed it. It was fine. I did that all on stream. And I do want to get through the rest of it. I can't stop playing the Dynamax Adventures, the new randomized raid battle mode. I love it. I love it so much. But something I know someone else here loves a lot is Nathan's affection for Codemasters in Dirt 5.
Yeah. I got a review code provided by Codemasters. I think we have to say that, right? Review code for Dirt 5 on the PS4. And it's a really good racing game. I really had a fun time playing it. I'm going to have more fun playing it when I get to try the next gen upgrade, because I think it'll fix some of the loading time issues and screen tearing issues. But overall, it's just a fun racing game with really insane weather physics. You can race on...
Is this a game that's getting a free next gen upgrade?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So it gets a free next gen upgrade. And it's really like you play like it's called dirt. So obviously you race in the dirt, but when it rains, it turns into like mud and like you're going through the mud. When there's like you race through the snow, and if the sun's coming out, some of the snow will start to melt on the track, and then you get slick parts on the track.
Ooh, slick parts.
So it's just like the way the weather modifies the track based on the conditions on the road were really cool. It's a really fun arcadey. It's not like a very deep racing experience that you don't expect Gran Turismo or even like the Dirt Rally series, which is their more technical version, more sim-like. This is just a fun racing game, which I put a lot of fun time into. Also,
I mean, yeah.
Sorry,
no. Well, no. Do you have more on Dirt? Otherwise,
no. I was gonna. I'll come back to it in a second. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, Dirt sounds like it's going to do a great job taking advantage of next gen. And speaking of that, I can't stop thinking about Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Dude,
I needed it so bad. They announced the Spider-Verse suit this week, and my brain nearly exploded seeing that in gameplay. Oh my god!
I love that they animated it at half the frame rate, like in the movie. By the way, this is a PSA. Anybody who says, "Oh, they should do that for Peter Parker," they clearly missed the point of why it does that in the movie in the first place. Miles is animated at half the frame rate that Peter Parker is to show that he is less experienced as Spider-Man. Anybody who's asking for the Peter Parker skin to do that didn't understand the movie. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that they didn't understand the movie; it's that they didn't care to understand the nuance of the film.
That's what
when he goes back up to full speed by the end. When
when the What's Up Danger montage, he's animated at the full frame rate.
I was going to say they didn't understand it because they didn't watch Corridor Crew explain the movie to them, and I think that's
or they didn't watch Alex Ballant explain the movie to him. I don't know, on Instagram Live. I don't know what he did before this podcast, honestly.
So speaking about next gen, I know Loki Mike has been trying to out me as having a PS5, and I need to come clean. Sony sent me a package this week. This is what I received from Sony.
Wow. It's even got memory cards in it.
I think the 5's backwards.
Yep. So
upside down.
If you put it on top of the PlayStation 3, then you get a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that's
how math works for sure.
Yeah. I passed math once.
Dude, if stack 2 more of those on top of each other and you've got the PS6 already, think about it.
Honestly, I gotta say, the fact that I got charged this week by Best Buy for my PlayStation 5, I was so excited about just the fact that it's like, it means it's real. It's going to be
Things are changing.
House.
Things are advancing.
Yeah, things are actually going to happen, and it's as soon going to be in my hand. It is a real thing that I will have at some point.
I don't think I got charged by Best Buy yet, by the way. Should I probably look into that?
You should check.
All right. I'm going to make a note.
Because I'm very excited because like we get next Wednesday off from work for reasons. So I was planning on just taking Friday because the system's not going to show up till later in the day. But I decided instead to take Thursday and Friday, and I'm just going to sit. And we're on a lower level in my apartment, so I can literally sit out on the balcony and see the delivery trucks drive up. So when I see Canada Post out there, I'm going to get I don't even, like normally they'll send you an email,
out the window.
Your thing's available for pickup. I'm going to see the truck, fucking run to the lobby and just wait there and look at my phone and wait till they put the email.
Yeah, I'm literally going to just sit right on the couch right next to the window and just look out it. Like, it's going to be like that scene in Scott Pilgrim where he's just, are you waiting for the package you just ordered? Like,
that was me with the Switch. I used to live at my parents' place.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I can't believe next gen is literally happening next week.
I can't believe it. I also can't believe that AJ is playing Teardown.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is an early access game on Steam.
I thought this was the Teardown from like PlayStation, but it's not.
Nope.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So this is it's a completely voxel based
this
little puzzle worlds that you're in. Is it there as well? I don't know.
This was on the last State of Play they did, I think.
Possibly. It's out on Steam Early Access right now, and basically the campaign of it is you work for this kind of like destruction company, and you get hired. You're basically a criminal, and you get hired to either tear things down that probably shouldn't be torn down. For example, on screen right now, you're seeing me try to tear down a house. that is supposed to be protected. And there's a variety of different tools around the world specifically, so that you can tear everything down faster. Hence the name Teardown. For me, what struck me about this and what made me buy it was specifically like the voxels. For the uninitiated, if you think of like voxels as like the 3D Dot Game Heroes or something like that, that kind of aesthetic, if you will. It's an interesting puzzle game in which you have to try and tear down this house or whatever, or there's in the next level you have to find ways to break into a different building and steal computers. I've just been having a decent amount of fun with it. There's vehicles and stuff that you can drive around and use that. As you make your way through the campaign, you unlock more tools and stuff. You're not going to see it in the video, but I have since unlocked a blowtorch and a shotgun to help tear things down. And it's a very especially right now in the world, as everybody's patience is running thin and everybody's at each other's throats. It's just real nice to like be a little healthily destructive, if you will.
Yeah, I just want to say that for whatever reason, I read tear down as tear away, and now I feel bad.
AJ?
Yes.
So I was just noticing you like bulldozing this house. Yeah. There's not like physics where if you destroy enough of the house, it's just going to tip over.
So
because it seemed to be holding precariously there till you like knocked out the one like little portion of the house that was holding it up.
I'm not entirely sure how it specifically works, if it's like one voxel holding on and the whole thing, everything above it stays up or not. But yeah, no. In that particular section, I had to completely knock down the house, and there was like a wooden, like there's different materials react differently. You start with a sledgehammer, and my sledgehammer wouldn't work against the brick chimney, right? But I could, pick up the explosive canisters there and chuck them and make them explode holes into the chimney itself. So yeah, the puzzle is, in some levels, trying to figure out the best way. At the end of a level, it gives you a time. So for speedrunning's sake, you might want to go for the fastest time or whatever. But in other levels, you might have to destroy things in a certain way to line up your optimized path, because if you try and steal like a car or something like that, like say that's your mission objective, you try and steal a car, your objective is to steal 2 cars, but as soon as you steal the first car, an alarm goes off and you have 1 minute until a helicopter arrives and busts you. You try and line up an optimal path to get both cars out of there as fast as possible and make it out as fast as you can in the shortest amount of time possible. So gotcha. It's a very interesting voxel-based puzzle game, and it's super, super cool.
Yeah, it sounds that way. You said this is early access. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cozy.
I was just going to say, that game looked unbelievably beautiful, by the way.
Yeah. They look very good.
Yeah.
It runs beautifully on this computer. The fire on wooden structures spreads, and that looks really good. The water looks really good. There's something visually striking about it, which adds to the satisfaction of destroying all of it.
So, sorry, you said this was early access on Steam, right?
Correct.
So, I also went down a bit of an early access rabbit hole, and I had some friends somehow, because I don't do this ever, they convinced me to play a spoopy game. So I've been playing Phasmophobia with TJ, who's been a guest on the show, Gamer Adam, good friend, and Antgore06 also hangs out with us sometimes. Shout out for the raid heading into today's episode. But this game, I hate it, but I can't stop thinking about it and wanting to play it. Because there's just something about the jankiness of it. Oh, and it looks like Cozy found me doing things on the Twitters or the Twitches. Over there at twitch.tv/Mr. Mitch George if you want to check me out playing video games at all.
So how much do I have to donate for you to play it in VR?
You'd have to donate a VR headset for one.
I can do that. I can do that. Watch what you say.
I think it's a loan, not a donate. But
I think if you loaned it to me and I don't know, donated $50 to charity, I would play a session of this game in VR.
How popular is this game?
Friday.
How popular is this game right now? Because I've seen quite a few added streamers playing it at the moment.
It got super popular during the month of October, I think, just leading into the spooky season of Halloween. And honestly, it's not all that scary at times. I mean, you're really you're going through the house, you're using the different tools at your disposal to you basically have to find 3 pieces of evidence that determine what type of ghost it is. And then you have some additional tasks like get a photo of the ghost or a photo of a ghost event or something along those lines, or detect the ghost with a motion sensor, things like that. And it's a lot of fun, honestly, with a good group, especially if you're using the in-game chat, because the in-game chat is all based on proximity. So you have a broadcast button. So you have like a walkie-talkie. But if there's a ghost event going on right now, like if the ghost is attacking, the walkie-talkies are just static. So it's like, oh God, they're dead. If you're the guy in the truck, like I was often the guy in the truck because I'm a scaredy little baby boy, you can't contact them at all. And it gets really, you freak out. You just turn on like, oh God, who died? Because there's also, you have sanity, and the lower your sanity is, the more likely you are to be attacked or killed by the ghost. And it just disappears when you've died. And it's a lot of fun, honestly, because it's kind of a puzzle game of let's take the tools we have, figure out where the ghost is, what it is, try to coax it to give you the clues you need, and try not to get murdered. It's a good time.
I'm hoping that this game can have legs beyond the Halloween season, because, I mean, this seems, much like Fall Guys and more recently Among Us, like a really, really good multiplayer game, a really good experience that sort of, allows people to do a fun activity together that is more cooperative than just competitive.
Yeah, no, and I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. For whatever reason, this year, I think it's, the whole being locked inside and not being able to interact with human beings has pushed me into multiplayer gaming much more than I ever have in the past. Between, Fall Guys, Among Us, The Division 2 was this year that I got into it when it went on sale for $4.
Yeah, Predator Hunting Grounds.
Marvel's Avengers, which I really want to get back to, Predator Hunting Grounds. It's been a weird year for me, game-wise. Mm-hmm. I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
But
you're not getting back to Avengers.
I hate you. I am. I'm going to... PS5 is going to come out. It's going to fix all the problems I have with it.
They said that they weren't releasing a PS5 version. Not until 2021.
But the game's still going to run better on the PS5. Similarly to Watch Dogs is getting a next-gen version.
It is.
Similarly to the videos we saw this week of The Witcher 3 running on an Xbox Series X, where the game doesn't account, like it expects a loading screen. So since the area loads in so quickly, it just glitches until it allows you to control your character again, which is great. And I think we're going to see a lot of that next week with all these consoles of just like, oh, here's how, NHL 16 runs on your Xbox Series X, and it's going to be stupid.
Yeah.
I'm so ready for all that.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like the whole SSD thing, it's like, this is going to fundamentally change game design, and I'm all for it. I can't wait to see what we get from this.
What are the chances that they go back and patch that sort of stuff out, that glitchiness in between?
I could see CD Projekt Red doing that. Like they've already said that they were doing a next gen version of The Witcher 3. And they are doing that for Cyberpunk as well. So I have a feeling
they have other things on their plate before they go back to patch The Witcher 3.
They've already said that they are going to do that, though. That's why I am saying that. But I feel like we're gonna see like a lot of devs being like, "Here's the next gen version of whichever game." And let me tell you, From Software, give me a next gen version of Bloodborne, please. You didn't do it for the PS4 Pro, but please do it for the PS5.
So
really wanna play that game.
NVMe SSDs are going to change the way game design looks for us all moving forward, since everyone's going to have that as a baseline to run their games on.
Yep.
A game that changed narrative design for all story-based games moving forward is What Remains of Edith Finch. And one Alexander Kazina got through that one this past week. Tell me all about it.
I really did love this game. Did it change narrative design for all games moving forward? I don't really like that. Feels kind of like high praise. People love this game.
I needed a segue, and that was the best I could come up with.
And I think it was pretty good. I'm not criticizing you for that. I don't know. I feel like I can't name too many other games of Edith Finch's sort of style of gameplay within the past couple of years. It kind of feels like the kind of like straightforward adventure game, walking simulator genre has kind of been on pause for the past little while. But regardless, yeah, I played and completed What Remains of Edith Finch on stream just on Monday, and man, what a great game. I had previously played Giant Sparrow's first game, The Unfinished Swan, a couple of years ago. Got all the trophies in it across all the systems it was on. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I did feel like it kind of suffered from studio's first game-itis, where there are definitely parts of it that feel a little bit unfocused, feel like, you know, they're still in the process of kind of figuring things out. And with What Remains of Edith Finch, yeah, it really feels like they totally managed to figure things out, so to speak. I don't want to go too deeply into spoilers here, because this game it's one of those games that's sort of best experience if you don't know too much going into it. What you do need to know, if you haven't heard of this game before, is that basically you've inherited this large and very peculiar house that you previously used to live in long ago, and you're going back to inspect it and kind of uncover its secrets before you eventually say goodbye to it. And I will leave it at that. This game does so many just interesting things. The way that it kind of tells the story of the house's prior inhabitants and kind of how it got to be the way it is so clever. There are a lot of like just really brilliant gameplay moments and segments that kind of mishmash different genres together in unexpected ways. And there is, again, I want to kind of remain as spoiler light as possible, but there's a couple of really brilliant moments in the game where it tells you how to progress to the next area of the house using something that I thought was almost akin to like the codec frequency package moment in Metal Gear Solid. You guys know what I'm talking about when I talk about the package moment?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Where basically like
I don't remember that, but I remember the moment you're talking about in Edith Finch, for sure.
In Metal Gear Solid, early on, you're told that to contact Meryl, you basically have to find the codec frequency to contact her on, and to find a codec frequency, you have to look on the package, and you realize
it's in the manual.
Right, it's not on a package in the game world; it's actually on the the physical package for Metal Gear Solid. There's like a couple of kind of world breaking, like fourth wall breaking moments that are very similar to that in this game that I thought were absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I think I kind of wrote this on Twitter after I completed the game. Like, I think it's only appropriate that I kind of close out the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation playing a game that I think might be one of my favorites from that generation. So yeah,
I agree with you.
Nothing else to say but to gush.
It's a fantastic game.
This wasn't free.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was just going to say it was free on PS Plus at one point. So
that's how I got it.
It was on.
Yeah, you could have it in your backlog.
This is one of those games I just had in my backlog, and I just decided to randomly play. So I suspect that's how I got it as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, we're going to get through a couple more really quick. You guys are going to have a few seconds for these. Nathan, tell me about the waifu puzzles.
So Pixel Puzzle Makeout League actually turned out to be one of the best narrative experiences I've had this year.
What? I can't tell if you're serious or not.
No,
I hope he's not.
I'm honest to God serious. This game does things that reminded me of Undertale and how it approached narrative.
Interesting.
And I don't want to spoil it because I know Cozy is probably going to play it because it's a good, because he likes Picross games, and we discussed that last week. Yeah. But this game, honestly, might be one of my favorite games of the year. What was it, Monday night, played from, I thought I only had like an hour left of it, so I was playing through the narrative, and I started like 10 o'clock. I didn't finish till 3 a.m. when I'd beaten the game. I couldn't put it down. for the last bit.
Interesting.
It is a bad name. It's a bad name, and I will give it that. But the cross of Picross, the dating sim, and the way the game knows it's a game just led to one of my favorite experiences this year.
I was not expecting you to go there, and I appreciate it. All right, Cozy, we're wrapping this up with what I'm going to dub the Apex. I don't know. I can't come up with a catchy name right now. Give us your Apex update.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't really have much of an Apex update. The thing is that when I wrote Apex Season 7 in the run of show doc, which you're currently referring to, I expected that Apex Season 7 was going to have released by the time that we recorded this episode, and that I was going to be able to play a couple of rounds. Turns out it's not. Turns out it's actually only releasing at 11 p.m. EST, so I actually don't have anything to say right now.
So
awesome. Well, we look forward to you saying things next week.
Totally.
Yeah.
However,
I was
this
hoping
may
to
not
jump
be the
into
last
that.
time that we'll be talking about Apex this episode. Sorry, Mitch.
Oh, God damn it.
What
did you put in the doc?
Oh, good. I was hoping to jump into that because it's coming to Steam finally with this new season. And on the Steam page, there's like kind of the advertisement banner that says it's coming out today, November 4th. And then right above it, beside the play button, it doesn't unlock until November 5th. So I don't know what's going on there. But
we'll have to wait and see, because for now it's time for us to get into the news.
yeehaw.
So thankfully there isn't too much this week, because I really want to get to this topic of the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. The first thing we're going to talk about is everyone's favorite topic, microtransactions. So Pokemon Go this year hit $1 billion in revenue, and lifetime revenue surpassed $4 billion. This makes 2020 Pokemon Go's best year to date, and it's only going to go up. This news coming to us via Sensor Tower by Craig Chappell. Pokemon Go makes a lot of money.
I'm just surprised at like how much, and the fact that this year is like still like huge because of the whole people not allowed to go outside for a while.
They changed the game, though.
Yeah,
right?
they've made
They made a lot of quality of life improvements so you can play more at home, including a lot of sales. And I think a lot of people just stocked up for when the world eventually went back to normal, which still TBD on that one.
As an example, they introduced an item called a remote raid pass, which basically allows you to take part in raids like without having to be too close to the gym in question where the raid is taking place at. I think items like that, and just like other items in general that you'd be able to easily get from Pokesofts, like Pokeballs and berries and whatnot, people have just been buying in droves and microtransactions, a lot more readily over the past year because they haven't really had many opportunities to go outside.
Right.
I think the other thing too is there's this whole thing called the pandemic going on. So a lot of people aren't having to go places. So a lot of people are noticing, I'm not spending as much on food or transit or car or maintenance or gas or things like that. People just have more disposable income this year. Year to date, I think this is like the best year software sales wise for the video game industry, and it's only going to go up from here. Something else to add to this is something I found from PC Gamer via Melindy Hetfeld. Activision Blizzard made $1.2 billion in microtransactions in the last quarter alone. A lot of this driven by Call of Duty Warzone, which its free-to-play model includes a number of microtransactions, as well as the only game that has beaten Call of Duty in terms of monthly active users is Candy Crush, which, funnily enough, is also owned by Activision Blizzard after they acquired King in 2016. So, Activision Blizzard, they like
rolling in money,
and they rolling in it from these microtransactions. So I don't think we're seeing anything like this go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah,
wait for that Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, this is going to change how. I mean, if it hasn't already, this is going to we're going to see ramifications about this in everything that Activision publishes from now on. They were already super microtransaction heavy, but this is just going to further push that even.
It will?
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Something else that's going to be pushed further is Apex Legends, as they're introducing a new map that was originally a concept in Titanfall 3, this coming via Eurogamer's Emma Kent. Cozy, you know Apex. I did not put this in here, so go.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much got the basic facts out of the way. So Emma Kent writes, Season 7 of Apex Legends is bringing a raft of major changes to the game, most notably new astrophysicist Legend Horizon, community clubs, the game's first ever vehicles, and floating city in the clouds Olympus. The new map is really the main draw here, designed with verticality and vehicles in mind, and stuffed with the sort of opulent architecture you'd expect to find in one of the richest cities in the Titanfall universe. And although working on Olympus for Apex Legends began in spring of 2019, the idea itself is far older. At one point, there was a Titanfall 3 in the works after we launched Titanfall 2, game director Chad Greenier told me in an interview, and Olympus wasn't called Olympus at the time, but that style of map was something we were exploring for the next Titanfall game. And there aren't like too many other big scoops about Titanfall 3 aside from that, but yeah, that's the sort of basic gist of it, that this idea, and you can presume a lot of other ideas that we've seen thus far in Apex, and we'll continue to see in Apex for quite some time, because they've talked about being planned up all the way to Season 12 of Apex Legends, have originated or will originate from Titanfall 3 concepts that they've had in the past. And based on the way that they describe things, they aren't ready to kind of rule out Titanfall 3 just yet for the future, but it seems like they're not particularly keen on working on it so long as Apex Legends continues to prove very popular. And I just wanted to kind of bring this game to light because I know that well, not this game, but I want to kind of bring the story to light just because I know that a lot of people within our community and within, you know, the wider like Kind of Funny community as a whole really, really adore Titanfall 2. And I kind of want to ask you guys, like, do you think that we are going to be seeing a Titanfall 3 anytime soon? Or does it seem like Apex Legends has sort of firmly cemented its space as the Titanfall 3, quote unquote, that we will have to live with?
So I don't think it's a matter of Apex Legends doing well. I think it's the fact that they did, what was the Star Wars game again?
Squadrons?
No,
Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order doing well,
Right.
this doing well, and Titanfall not doing well. Like, it did all right, and
Yeah.
it's more EA's fault for when like the release timing on it, especially for number 2. But that did not bring the money in that they were needed to. So and this is obviously bringing enough money in to keep producing.
Yeah,
So
Titanfall was never successful. Neither the first game nor the second game were actually that
It
successful.
should have been, but
Yeah,
They were critically successful.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like commercially, where Fallen Order and Apex have both been smash hits for Respawn.
Yeah.
I feel like what we could see from this is maybe they're just going to lean hard in the Apex branding, and maybe we might see a potential single player framed around the Apex universe. I know that they're the same, but like more leaning towards like those characters. Sort of like what we're going to get with Overwatch 2 rather than Titanfall 3.
I don't think we will get that for one reason. You know how we said Activision likes money?
EA also likes money.
EA also likes money. You know what doesn't
Well-
make them money the way that like Apex is making them money. So they're not going to abandon a cash cow
I don't think that
to
they
work
would
on something that
abandon
is
it,
going to be
They're
net
not-
negative for their profits.
that's the thing, though. They don't have to abandon it. So
It's just going to
the
be a side
Apex-
thing.
Yeah, the Apex predators in Titanfall 2 are who you hunted down, right?
Yeah.
And so these guys in Apex Legends are supposed to be like the reject bad guys of that in some way. So there is absolutely a way that they could better intertwine the story in some fashion to make it more appealing to people who don't necessarily want to play multiplayer, right? So
Right, but unless they're going to charge for that, there's nothing in there that makes EA
I
money.
mean, I think it would be like an
$10 a
Overwatch
character.
2 scenario, like what Activision is doing with Overwatch 2, where they're going to make a new product, call it Apex, whatever, Apex Heroes,
Predators.
or whatever they'll call it. That'll be like a single player story. and then Apex Legends will still be what it is and continue evolving. Like I see them dropping Titanfall branding and using Apex because Apex has proven to be successful.
Yeah, that
makes sense.
So
which is really sad because I really, really, really wanted a Titanfall 3.
That is a good jumping off point to mention how in the same article, Chad Grenier talks about how they are definitely looking at ways to kind of expand Apex beyond just being a battle royale game. He says right now we're a battle royale game. I think if you look into the future, we have a lot of conversations of, should we expand beyond battle royale? We have this roster of legends that people love. How else can we use them? I think that looking into the future, you're probably going to see the game become more than just a battle royale game. And in fact, data miners have actually uncovered clues hinting that Apex could get in arena mode. So like something that's a lot more close quarters than the big open map of normal Apex play. Although apparently like the Apex devs have done efforts in the past to kind of try and throw data miners off the scent by like inserting like fake legends and whatnot in the past. So we'll only know until it's actually real whether or not this is something that's truly being hinted at.
Hear me out. Apex multiplayer online battle arena.
Yeah.
Right.
And with that,
but Sony's tried that and realized people wouldn't pay $80 for it and are now giving that away for free in Destruction All-Stars.
But it's not Apex.
Yeah, but EA is even more strict on what makes money than Sony.
Are they?
I would say so. Sony keeps putting out single player games. When's the last time other than Star Wars that EA put out something that was single player focused?
fair.
Yarny.
And that was when?
There was a second one, and I think that was not that long ago.
That was in 2019.
2017?
That was the first one.
2018?
I think Unravel was 2019. Or
what was
the
it called?
second one. Unravel 2.
It wasn't called Yarny. It was called Unravel, then Unravel 2.
But it had Yarny in it.
Yes,
Yarny was the name of the character, yes. But we're going to move on from talking about Yarny to talk about the fact that Retro Studio has decided to model their HQ in 2021, and people are reading way too much into it.
I mean, I don't really know if there's a better way to kind of describe this story. Yeah, there's not much else to say about, Retro Studios remodeling its HQ. This is per Nintendo Life. Retro is currently involved in the production of Metroid Prime 4, as we all know, a game it inherited when Nintendo decided to restart its production in 2019. The work on its remodeling comes with a price tag of $530,000 and will result in almost 40,000 square feet of custom office space, with Retro moving in by the summer of 2021. There's not really much of a story there. The reason why I wanted to bring this article up at all is just because over the past few months, we have gotten barely a half of a quarter of a plate of information on what exactly is going on with Metroid Prime 4. We have had a lot of people join the project, but in a very kind of drip feed style fashion, where it's not like we've had, 40 new people just joined Retro Studios. It's been one person of significance joins Retro Studio every month or so. And so I wanted to kind of use this article as a jumping off point to kind of talk about all the hires that Retro has brought on over the past few months, and if they have brought on quite a few people of note, and kind of see what we can kind of infer from that. In the same Nintendo Life article, they talk about some of the new staffers that they brought on over the past few months include Bathar Waj Bat Nandakumar, who previously worked in Call of Duty, Edad Morales, who worked on Battlefield Hardline. Maybe he's familiar with your friend AJ, who we had on the show previously. Brian Irk, who worked on Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Nicholas Wilson, who worked on Borderlands 3. Mark Capers, New Super Lucky's Tale, and so on and so forth. Two people, though, that I wanted to talk a little bit about were Dylan Job and Marissa Palumbo. So Dylan Job is a longtime industry veteran. He previously worked on a bunch of stuff. He worked on Twisted Metal Black, War of the Monsters, back during the PlayStation 2 era, and probably the two games that people know him for best, Warhawk and Starhawk, the kind of multiplayer-centric PlayStation 3 exclusives back from the previous console generation, soon to be previous console generation. Meanwhile, Marissa was basically a producer who worked on a lot of Rockstar titles in the past. She previously worked on games like, for example, LA Noire, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. After leaving Rockstar, however, she actually spent many years working with the Overwatch team at Blizzard Studios. And so, talking about these two people, obviously it's impossible to know exactly what their hires mean for Retro Studios, but I feel like it does beg the question, given their respective backgrounds, do we expect Metroid Prime 4 to feature a significant multiplayer mode or a multiplayer component to it? One thing that we've seen over the past few months is that multiplayer, especially, can be a real deal breaker in terms of titles continuing to hang on to relevancy months after they've been released. Most recently, Ghost of Tsushima saw a huge surge in popularity as a result of its unexpected and really, really solid multiplayer mode, whereas games like The Last of Us Part 2, while arguably even better, have sort of languished as a result. And, we talked last week about how, would that game be more in the conversation right now if it had launched with its much discussed, upcoming multiplayer mode as well. And of course, the Metroid Prime series is no it's not at all alien to multiplayer modes. Previously, we had Metroid Prime Hunters on the original DS, which had a multiplayer mode where you could transform into a bunch of different bounty hunters. And of course, there were games like Metroid Prime Federation Force on the 3DS, Metroid Prime 2, which had a kind of basic multiplayer mode, and even stuff like the Metroid minigame in Nintendo Land, which had a very multiplayer-centric focus to it. So it's definitely something that the series has precedent for. And so I want to open up the question to you guys. Do you think that I'm a rambling string of nonsense right now, or do you think that I'm onto something?
I think we're fishing for news on a week that doesn't have much news.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, like I said at the start, like the thing is that we have not talked about Metroid Prime 4 in any major capacity, I feel, on this show for the entirety of its existence. And so I kind of wanted...
Neither is Nintendo.
Right. Yeah. This news story is basically me taking the past 9 months of very, very small fragments of news and condensing it into a news story. You know what I mean? It's like taking all of the pieces of all 100 pieces of the mystical item that you have to collect from throughout the overworld and mushing it together into the single piece.
Serious question.
Yeah.
But does Metroid Prime 4 actually launch on Switch or next-gen hardware for Nintendo?
Ooh. I wouldn't be surprised if it got pushed to next-gen.
I could see it being almost like a Breath of the Wild situation.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking as the example of that. But we're also getting a Breath of the Wild sequel at some point.
Yeah, but that
you're not going to want to do that with both those titles.
But that also seems like that's going to be a lot sooner than Metroid Prime, just because it seems like they already have a lot of the stuff that a lot of the assets and stuff, and it seems like
also true.
Yeah, why would they get rid of that engine that they made for Breath of the Wild? Because oh my god, it is so in depth, and there's so many mechanics that are kind of insane with that.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah,
the chemistry system is actually very impressive in that game.
Again, I want to stress that ultimately the background experiences of some of these hires could mean absolutely nothing for the game. I remember back in 2012, it was a huge story when it was announced that Retro Studios had hired a former Naughty Dog environmental artist by the name of Eric Kozlowski. I remember on the kind of Nintendo Twitterverse, everybody was ecstatic. Oh my God, Retro Studios hired this guy from Naughty Dog. They're hard at work at an amazing Naughty Dog style action adventure game. And then the next game that we got from Retro Studios, of course, was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is a great game, but certainly not the game you might have expected to come from a studio that brought on a former Naughty Dog environment artist, if you're like a Nintendo conspiracy theorist. But I don't know. I really just want to find out what Retro Studios is up to next. I really want to find out.
One day.
I mean, we're not going to have to wait long to find out just how large the next Call of Duty game is going to be on next gen consoles.
That was not a very good segue, to be honest.
No.
That was fine. This is coming from IGN's Matt
halfway
Kim.
there.
We now know that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is going to be a big boy on PS4. It's going to clock in at a whopping 95 gigabytes. The PlayStation 5 will be at 133. The Xbox One version will be at 93 gigabytes, and the Xbox Series X and Series S versions will be at 136 gigabytes. The PC version is somewhere in between there, with multiplayer being only 35 gigabytes. I say only in quotes. The full game being 82 gigabytes, and the full game with the Ultra Graphics package being 125 gigabytes. What Activision did not disclose, however, is whether or not this file size includes that of Call of Duty Warzone. With Warzone inevitably being an extension of that game, how big do we think this thing can actually get? Because as it stands, on the Xbox Series S, which has an advertised storage of 512 gigabytes after OS and everything, I think this game without Warzone is going to be taking up something like 37%. Yeah, according to The Verge's Nick stat. The reported storage. Okay, so this is where it comes back to Canada. The source has been shipping out Xbox Series X and Series XS early. So a Canadian Redditor got their hands on an early Xbox Series S and let everyone know that the smaller device's 512 gigabyte SSD contains only 364 gigabytes of usable storage, meaning that this new Call of Duty game will take up a whopping 37% of the device's hard drive space.
Oh, and that's without patches, because
that's without patches, and presumably that's without Warzone.
Yeah.
So
they absolutely have to split that game up.
Yeah, like
they have to.
They've been doing it with PC for a very long time. I don't understand.
And they just introduced it on console as well. As
Yeah,
far as I know.
finally.
Someone told me earlier today that you have that option now on the PlayStation 4 version.
Okay. So I don't understand why it's so big. Like, the Call of Duty file sizes are out of control. And specifically with next-gen versions being larger, which I'm kind of confused about, because my whole thought process behind the SSD is that with disk-based media and before the with the old solid-state hard drives, they would repeat assets many times so that it was quicker for them to get to when they were loading, where with the SSDs, they don't need to repeat assets for redundancies.
Yep.
So
what this is an unoptimized project being worked on by 4 different studios, and you've got too many cooks in the kitchen. Things are getting out of control. They're getting unmanageable, and you're ending up probably with a lot of legacy code that is staying around between releases that they're too scared to get rid of, and it's just adding unnecessary clout and volume. And one could say, go for it, AJ. I know you want to say it. Say it, AJ.
Girth.
To this whole package. That is
didn't we once
entirely speculative, but
didn't we once theorize that the reason that they wanted that they did it specifically was they kept the entirety of Modern Warfare in there in the original Warzone because they wanted to trick you into kind of, oh, you've been playing Warzone, you may like our single player and our other multiplayer.
Yeah, I think
so. You just had it there, and you could just buy it and play it.
So,
yeah,
I think that's part of it. But when you're asking people to install presumably we'll get to a point where it's like a 250 gigabyte install for all of this with patches and Warzone and everything on top of that. If you're asking me for a free to play title to take up like half my hard drive space with the chance that I might buy into the other part of it that's behind a paywall, you're smoking something. And whatever it is, you should be sharing, because that's something that seems to be real powerful.
I think I have a theory, and I have no merit to this theory.
Yay, wild speculation.
Hell yeah. This, I think, is maybe intentional with Activision, that they want to try and take up as much space as they possibly can on the hard drive so that you don't have other games on your hard drive, so you have to play Call of Duty.
Ooh, I like this conspiracy theory.
I was honestly just having the same thought about this, Alex. It's like the more room they take up, the less room you have for other things, and they don't care because they want you playing Call of Duty and paying for microtransactions.
Yeah.
As we discussed earlier, they like microtransactions.
Yeah, so if you have less
Activision
options to
likes
have,
money.
if you have less options to have less games on your hard drives or on
But
your
they're
hard
eating
drive,
into
then
their own market in that case, because we saw last week, we discussed that they are adding the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy to the PlayStation Plus collection. That's a game I bought on the PS4.
Those aren't going to pull as much money as Call of Duty is.
I'm just saying, for as an example, like that's a game I bought on the PS4 and I want to get to on the PS5. But if I'm an Activision fan and I have Warzone installed, then I might not have space to play their other games, whether it's that or It's About Time or whatever Crash Bandicoot 5 or Spyro 4 ends up being, because we all know they're going to do it because these games have made the money. So they're kind of eating into their own market of, if I can only have their game installed, then I can't buy and play their other games, which I get it. Call of Duty makes a lot of money, but at the same time, you're blocking your own future revenue streams, which is ass backwards if you ask me.
Well, this is all speculation, so we'll never actually know the answer, but it's fun to theorize.
And with that, we can wrap this all up. We've already discussed what's in read/watch all the things. It's the Spider-Verse suit. It's really cool. You can disable the 12 frames per second. So when you feel like your Miles is at a point in the story that he should run at full frames, you can do that. And you can also apply it to other suits. So if there are other comic booky looking suits and you want to do that and make it look dope, you can do that.
Hell yeah.
Good job, Insomniac.
We did it.
Good job all around.
Go us.
No deals this week, but go redeem the PS Plus games. They're up now. There's probably some Game Pass stuff at some point somewhere. We're gonna get into our tier list. We're gonna get into a game that we are dubbing Top Tier.
Hell yeah.
So the way we're gonna do this, I guess, is we'll just go title by title. If you each just open up your own tab, you'll have them all on the list, and we can just sort of argue as to where we would put it, and then we'll put it there. That way we don't have to constantly look at the stream and the delay, because Cozy's not sharing his screen with us, because I don't think there's a good way to do that. But we'll figure that out for next time. But for now,
yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We're
going to rank these games S, A, B, C, or D.
Should we have an S plus?
No.
We've already made the list, or we've already made the page.
The S is S plus. Like, that is the top tier, 10 out of 10. Have to recommend. Everyone has to play this game. And not,
There is enough room to make the tier names be GIRTH if
That's
we
true.
are so inclined.
And if we want, we can slightly change up the labels, but I don't see any reason to do so right now.
Yeah,
I think we're good with what we got for this first test run of top tier.
I agree.
Or we're going to go through and rank the best, or not even the best, the exclusive games from both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation of consoles. These games are console exclusives, because when I went through and tried to find ones that were exclusive to just the Xbox, there were like 9. And let me see if I can find that list, because it was
I actually am curious.
hilariously
What
small.
is exclusive to just the Xbox?
Nothing.
Rise, Son of Rome.
Halo 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Here, Xbox One only games. My source is Wikipedia, so
Is
take that with a grain of
Rise?
salt.
I think Rise.
Nope.
is that
Crimson
on PC?
Dragon, Dance Central Spotlight, Fighter Within, Forza Motorsport 5,
Okay. Yeah.
True, Halo 5 Guardians, Kinect Sports Rivals,
Okay. that makes
Power
sense.
Star Golf, Rare Replay,
Yeah.
Shape Up, and Xbox Fitness
So it's a lot of
are the
Kinect stuff.
11 games that are exclusive to only the Xbox One.
Jeez.
Everything else will come somewhere else, whether it be
I love that they
PC
put it
or
on
PS4
PC.
or even the Switch.
To be fair, though, we've said that like PC doesn't count. PC is its own thing.
Which is
Because
why
if
they
you
have
have
the list.
So I did
have-
I added Ori here because it has not come to PlayStation, but I didn't add Cuphead because it did.
If you
that
have a
make sense?
PC, you have a direct Xbox. That's how it works. See?
How about
I see.
Bill Gates, you're a genius.
how about we get
Alright.
started with creating our tier?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, Cozy, since you've got the list in front of you because you're making it for the stream, why don't you go ahead and tell us which games we're arguing, and we'll all just get into it.
All right. Well, I figure we might as well go in the order in which they are presented to us. So let's start off with Killzone Shadowfall.
D.
S.
Really? Are you actually for real?
No, I think it's maybe a B. It's not a D. It's a
D.
good game.
It's not
It's
a
not
D.
a D.
It's
not
either
D.
C or D. Killzone Shadowfall fucking sucks. It's a bad game.
Alex,
it's a bad shooter and not fun.
Let's do a digital high five right now. You ready?
Oh wait. All right. We were going
I don't think our
It's okay.
we'll figure it out.
I'm willing to concede and meet in the middle, but it is not a D. There are D games on this list, but Killzone Shadowfall is not one of them.
I will put it at C just because I know that we need to compromise later on other games.
Death Stranding's not an S.
We can always change these up halfway through if we don't feel kind of satisfied. Yeah, okay. This game is going to become the bottom of the bottom, but I'll put it C for the time being.
It is not fun. I played it at the beginning of the year because I'm like, I'm going to go through all the PlayStation 4 exclusives.
You played it this year. You didn't play it when the system launched, which is when most of us did play it.
Wow. There's nothing else to play on my new console. I guess this game is good then.
Exactly. It was Lego Marvel Superheroes.
That's not good rationale at all.
Let's just be glad we're getting a much better launch for the PS5.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I will say this.
Looks like it's going to be good.
I liked the tutorial mission for Killzone Shadowfall, where you're a child and you're following your father through basically what is soon to become a kind of planet very similar to the situation involving East and West Germany and the Berlin Wall. And you're kind of trying to avoid all the rogue Hellgas agents as they're out to kill you and your father. I thought that introductory mission was really cool, but I think that the game that falls is not very good.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody wanted to rebut or offer up any additional comments.
No, I think you nailed it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a game that needs no introduction. Knack.
It has to. This one we can agree is D. This is D tier, right?
I've not played Knack or Knack.
Wait,
2.
you haven't played Knack? I like Knack. Knack's actually good. People give it a lot of crap. It's actually a good game.
I've completed neither of them.
If we could modify the number of tiers that are currently on this list, I would have loved if we could have created a Knack tier just for the Knack games, but it's too late.
Can you not modify it?
Mitch is the one who created it, so we'll have to
you can add a row above or below. Right
here. You can. Yeah, you
just
can
click the gear.
Your own. Oh god, we're adding the
as long as it's below D.
Sure.
If it's below D, I'm fine with there being a Knack tier.
I don't have an opinion on it.
What color is it?
Sorry,
brown.
Brown for Knack.
Add a row below, yeah.
I clicked the button and there we go. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, I was under the impression that because Mitch had created it, I wasn't allowed to be given responsibilities to edit it myself.
I think it's your own copy of it at that point.
Yeah.
All right. Knack, say hello to
brown,
your new
right?
home.
It was on our number one launch game.
Launch title, yeah.
It was. Which
you have to be consistent.
No, we don't. No,
and it was your call.
It wasn't my call. It was your call. You gave me a game I didn't want to argue, and I called an audible and gave you Knack instead. And you
you were going to give me another game anyway. You were going to give me Knack regardless of what game I gave you.
Also true.
So once again, you gave me Knack, and it was number one. I'm just saying,
fine.
We need to have consistency in our messages here.
Right. So it gets its own tier. Is that not enough?
All right. Let's move on.
Well, let's kill this conversation and talk about Killer Instinct.
Oh, good segue.
I have never played this game or any other game in the series.
Okay. This Killer Instinct
is one.
This Killer Instinct specifically is actually a very, very competent, good, decent fighter. If you try and imagine on this tier list where, say, a Mortal Kombat would fall, this would be on the tier right below it.
I think this is a B.
B?
Killer Instinct. I played some when I got Game Pass because I loved the Super Nintendo and the N64 games, and it was the one game I was excited to play once I got Game Pass on my PC. It's just a very no frills fighter. It doesn't have the polish.
There's Well, it's also been through a few hands. It's over with Iron Galaxy now. And whatnot. But yeah, like it both looks and plays and feels polished, but also is rough around the edges enough that it maybe doesn't come across that way. It's really kind of hard to articulate the modern Killer Instinct. I'm not even sure if it makes it into Evo anymore.
It does.
It was going to be.
I
think it was going to be an Evo this year before they canceled
it. Was it?
Yeah, because Maximilian Dude was going to do commentary for it.
Got it.
But it isn't a top tier fight. Like, it's not considered a top tier fighting game. They put a lot of love into it. It has a Battletoad and some new characters.
Hey,
so
Alex,
it's pretty much got every character in it.
It has the Arbiter in it.
I know that actually made me very excited.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
it's
like
Halo 5 Arbiter though, which isn't terrible.
It's still
but
the Arbiter.
It's still voiced by Keith David.
Yeah.
So
That's
I don't
true.
know. I think it's a B or a C. I don't know. What do you think, AJ?
I'll trust your discretion.
I'm in agreement with B.
All right, B it is.
I haven't played it, but whatever.
Yeah, I trust your discretion.
Let's talk about Titanfall 1.
Okay, Titanfall 1 is a C tier game because it was a proof of concept for Titanfall 2, which is actually a very good game. I just don't
I'd
think
say
that
it's about as good as Killzone Shadowfall. Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
infinitely better than Killzone Shadowfall, but there just wasn't enough there to justify it being what it was. It was a proof of concept for Titanfall 2, at least in my opinion.
I feel bad putting it on the same tier as Shadowfall, but
yeah,
unless Nathan and AJ, you have something to say.
I never played the game. It was an
Xbox exclusive. Yeah,
it was an Xbox.
It was
exclusive.
Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC exclusive. So it was Xbox family console.
Good
exclusive.
enough.
It's an interesting.
Did
one.
it not ever come to PlayStation?
No,
Nope.
The first one never came to PlayStation.
Yeah,
Really?
Microsoft
I thought it
had
did for some reason.
Microsoft published it.
right? Yeah, Microsoft had publishing rights with EA.
Yeah. What I would say about Titanfall is it's from the original developers who made Call of Duty popular and good, and they took that feel and that formula in a new, better, interesting direction. Even if it was unfortunately locked to just the multiplayer, I think the game. I've never played. I haven't been inspired to play much Call of Duty multiplayer, aside from like Warzone earlier this year, because it was something newer and different in that space. But Titanfall is the first one of those where I got to the whatever the equivalent of prestiging is. So I think it's better than Killzone, personally.
I mean, if I put the game like before Killzone, like to the left of Killzone, we can agree that that means it's better than whatever follows it.
No,
Sure,
they're all on
if that
equal footing.
checks
Let's
out.
move on to the next title. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in my head canon, it's going to mean that. All right.
Okay.
Let's talk
That works.
about Infamous First Light. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about Infamous Second Son first. Just because I feel like it only makes sense that you should talk about that game first, considering it came out chronologically before First Light.
So I kind of think we need to talk about both of them together, because one's going to rank
You wouldn't
higher.
have First Light without Second Son.
Right.
Yeah. Like personally, when I'm looking at this, like I can just say First Light should be above Second Son.
That is,
however we rank it. First Light's like half the area, but it's a much better story and it's a much better character, and it uses the best powers in the game the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
See, I liked the variety of powers that you got in Second Son, but I knew this was a losing fight coming in. I almost didn't put First Light on here and just went with, full games, but I knew if I did that, I wouldn't hear the end of it from Nathan. So I'm okay with First Light being our first S tier title and Infamous being A tier, because I think it is infinitely better than Killer Instinct.
I don't know if I'm ready to award something an S tier, but like it is,
Yeah, I don't.
it's
think we're there
really
yet.
high up there.
Really?
I would put First Light at A and Second Son at B.
That's where I would put it. I feel like Killer Instinct is too high. I feel like Killer Instinct
needs to move down, to be honest, then, if that's the case.
I think we need to shift everything down one.
See, I think the thing... From my
I'm okay with that.
Just think about because it's like, think about like what's coming up and where you would rank those. That's why I think that everything is too high right now.
Yeah, okay. We're running out of room at the top.
You want me to move everything down?
Yeah, everything go down one.
All right,
except Knack. Knack can stay. Knack can stay on Knack tier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's
if you move
go lower
down one, then it goes
Knack
to the
2,
top,
baby.
Technically, it's in its own tier.
Is Infamous Second Son is going at B?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Second Son, then First Light A.
All right. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
It's froze for a sec. It's good. Okay, let's talk about The Order 1886.
Haven't played this one.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but my understanding was that it was never that good.
I finished it. It's fine. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing. I'm like 2 trophies away from the platinum, and I still can't justify going back to get it. It is a D tier game.
Yeah, this I finished and platinumed it as well. It's it's so weird because like typically when games are in the C or D tier list, everything in them across the board tends to be less than par. Like their story is not that great, and also their gameplay is not that great, and so on and so forth. The Order is this really weird, lopsided game where its story, writing, and performances are honestly really solid across the board. Yeah, it is not bad at all. And it's the gameplay where things really, really, really suffer. So it feels weird to put it in D, but I think that's where it has to go.
Does it? Okay. In terms of the gameplay, does it suffer, or does it just not do anything inspiring or new or interesting?
I'd say the latter.
Yeah, it's short too, right?
It is very short.
It's like 5 hours or something. You're done.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when it came out as a full price game, yeah, then in that regard, I think it's probably a D tier game. But at a lower price, would it not? That experience, especially these days, where you're trying to play as many games as possible, maybe bump it up a bit.
I think I bought it for $4, and I still want to make it a D tier title. So what does that say?
Ooh.
All right.
Also, I don't think we can take a sliding scale of price into opinion on these.
Yeah.
No.
I think we need to talk about game quality, not cost of the game.
Because every single one of these will be cheap.
Speaking of quality, I don't know.
Yes?
I was trying to segue to the next one because we're all.
What happened?
I'm quality.
You started out with such great segues at the beginning of this episode, and each subsequent segue is just
tired.
Increasingly worse. Let's talk about Bloodborne.
Be on this show, to be honest.
Bloodborne.
So Bloodborne, we can probably agree is a D tier.
Yeah, too hard.
I didn't get out of the first enemy I encountered killed me, and I didn't get back.
I know.
Yeah, it's
that's
totally
kind of where I left it off.
Maybe even Knack tier.
Oh,
it's not that good.
Well, yeah, that's actually
true,
really high
true.
praise.
Yeah.
No, but for real, like Bloodborne is either an A or an S. Like, I know Cozy has the most amount of time in it, so where would you put it, Cozy?
See, here's the thing. I want to give it an S just because of its level of cultural penetration. I'd say it's an A for me personally, but I know that we're not rating these games based on just our personal opinions.
Can we not give it B for Bloodborne?
No. Knowing what I know about the game and how we would get so much hate on the internet for saying anything below A, I'm okay with A.
I think it should be an A.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Alrighty.
All right.
The fact that it's like not really grabbed most of us, and Cozy's the one who has played it and still would give it an A. I think that's fair.
All right. Let's talk about Ori and the Blind Forest.
I love this game. I absolutely adore this game.
A tier?
At least. Just the Metroidvania style of it, the art style, like everything about it just clicks. Yeah, the soundtrack is phenomenal. It's just a wonderful experience.
Some game, hold on, let me adjust my glasses. Some game called Halo, the Master Chief Collection.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first game? S tier.
So I don't know if this should be included.
I don't know if we want to get into the logistics of like whether or not this could be included, because we could go back and forth about this. I think for brevity, I think either an S or an A, because I think just the value proposition of the Master Chief Collection, along with at least 4 iconic as fuck games that still hold up today.
Yeah, but isn't Halo 4 in this game?
I wasn't counting Halo 4.
Yeah, but it's still there.
But Halo 4 is not a bad game. It's just a bad Halo game. We're not getting into that. It's still a good game. You get Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 3 and Halo Reach, which are like S tier games on their own, and they're all in one collection, and they actually work now too on Xbox.
I think they're great.
But they didn't get launch.
Yeah, but they work now. We're talking about it now, though.
Launch.
We're talking about it now, though. And
if we're talking about it now, the game's still missing games on PC.
But we're not talking about the PC version. We're talking about the Xbox version.
We're talking about the game as a whole.
Also, can we go back to Halo 1 holds up? Because as somebody who hasn't tried Halo before, it does not my introduction
just fine.
But it doesn't play just fine. The vehicle controls are terrible.
No, they're not. Just fine because you remember playing it.
They're great.
They play good.
They were great at the time it released, but they don't hold up.
You push forward, it moves forward. You turn the camera, the car turns. It's simple.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's easy.
I will make a concession. Let us put it in A.
I'm good with A. I don't think it hits S tier just because it's not. It's a wonderful package, but as a whole is not. I think
value proposition
original.
It is undeniably.
If you haven't played,
and the fact that it's also still continuing to evolve and get better and better.
No, I have to get this day. I need to take a pause because Private Jeebus in the chat is saying you cannot say a game doesn't hold up that you haven't played. I played the entirety of Halo 1 with a Duke controller on a friend's Xbox. You can go shove it up your ass.
Okay.
Also, TJ, you don't have a leg to stand on because you have been dropping nothing but terrible opinions all night.
Yeah, knack tier opinions, as it's been dubbed.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Uncharted 4.
I think Nathan just agreed with that.
What?
I don't know what I agree with.
So what does everyone think about Uncharted 4?
Knack tier.
If it existed, I would put this between a B and an A.
I think it is an A tier game.
I think for me, this is the first game I would put in an S tier.
I think.
I know people won't agree, but I friggin' loved Uncharted 4.
I love the story of Uncharted 4. I love the characters of Uncharted 4. The gameplay lacks quite a bit because you can tell that it was pieced together because of Amy Hennig leaving and Neil Druckmann taking over. And it really shows that on how many times you're just climbing in that game.
I would put it as an A. Do we have we didn't put what's the sequel?
Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy. We didn't.
I thought about it.
Here.
I think Lost Legacy. I think Lost Legacy is honestly
because I didn't finish Lost Legacy,
4.
and I thought we having 41 titles was enough, seeing as we're not even halfway through this, and it's 9:30.
Yeah,
we got some big games to talk about.
Let's put Uncharted 4 at an A.
I'm good with an A.
I want to speed through this. So we don't need to argue.
I mean, I feel like I can't put it on the same tier as Second Son. As much as
it's a better game.
Slightly underwhelmed by it.
So. For sure. Polish-wise, it is better.
Sunset Overdrive.
I've never played this game. It's not on Game Pass. So
I played 5 minutes of this at a buddy's house. So
wonderful.
I don't have too much to say. I want it. This is the only game on this list that is on the Xbox that made me want to buy an Xbox.
Me too.
I agree with that because of Insomniac.
It's still really good. It still feels really good. It holds up. Hell, even graphically to an extent, the art style they chose
is phenomenal. It was the building blocks to Spider-Man in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like I think it should be
B. I'm leaning B.
I would put it at B. Personally.
Everything can't be A tier. Either B or it's better than Killer Instinct. I would say it's a B.
I would say it's on the same level of Second Son.
This is one of those instances where like part of me almost wants to give it an A, although I'll admit that I've never played it, so I can't like speak personally to what I think of it. The reason though why I think B is probably right for this game is, again, it just comes back to the cultural impact thing where like, you know, this game was really well received at the time of its release. People really loved it, and I feel like, you know, ultimately, how did it affect society? Did it have much of a tail? Like, the game just did not exist much beyond the brief bubble in which it was released. So
yeah. No, I think B's right.
Yeah, I think B is appropriate.
The bubble that it released in, it was still under the shadow of the horrible Xbox One launch. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right,
What's
next
up
game.
next? Oh, and
Until-
network here on my screen.
Done.
This game is great every Halloween. If you got a group of people together that'll play it, it is such a hoot. That being said, I'm going to put this
Whoa.
into like a B tier.
I think that's right for it.
Yeah. Like I don't.
It's great, but it is one that is kind of it's a very like single dimensional experience.
It's better. It's better than their current stuff they're releasing.
Oh,
yeah.
So I was going to ask, have any of you played those games that the studio in question recently released?
Man,
No,
no.
I have not
Picture
played
Anthology,
them
yeah.
from Supermassive, but the feedback is continually whelming.
Because
Or
I would love to do a playthrough of it with one of you guys here because the whole experience for both Man and Madon and the one that just came out that's name I can't remember in the Dark Pictures anthology.
yeah,
They're multiplayer the whole way through, so I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that's a big investment to make in a game that seems to be mediocre.
I only bring up those games just to ask, like, do you think that your opinion of Until Dawn is being slightly soured by what the studio has been up to recently, or do you really feel like you have a clarity of opinion in terms of what the game was at the time of its release?
No, I think this is a B upon its release.
I had a great experience with it because we got a group of friends together and we played through the entirety of it like around Halloween, and we all made the decisions together and all of that, and it was a lot of fun. But we also played it in a room where they had the mechanic in the game of if you move the controller or make too much noise, the thing might find you. And everyone around me was jumping and getting scared, causing me to jump and get scared. So we got killed a few times. But I think there was a lot of novelty to the experience, but it's still pretty good.
Also, Detroit Become Human came out and did the weapon stuff better.
See, I knew I forgot to put something on this list.
All right.
Well,
Let's go.
too late.
All right, let's talk about The Last Guardian.
D.
I
haven't
didn't
played it.
play it. D for didn't play it.
Oh shit!
I'll jump on that boat. I heard that it wasn't received all that well.
Yeah,
for-
I own
I
it.
haven't played it either, and I know it wasn't received well. I'm going to give it a shot when it's in the PlayStation 5 collection for PS Plus.
I bought it for like $12, and I should probably get to it at some point.
I think Shadows is great. Like Shadow of the Colossus was great, and the remake was done really well by Bluepoint. But I never connected with Eco, and this didn't really seem to jive. But I don't know. I'm willing to try it. I need to give it a shot.
I played the first, I'd like to say, 3 to 4 hours of this game. I enjoyed it, but I definitely had more than a few moments where I was just plain ass confused as to where I was supposed to go or what I was supposed to do. I think that there's an even stronger kind of clarity to vision in this game than there even was in Shadow of the Colossus or Eco before it. And I appreciate like the fact that The Last Guardian was, I'd say, a lot more kind of cinematic than those games, and I'd say way more guided even. But that couldn't save me from ultimately dropping the game, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it. I don't think that it should go at D though. I think that this is a C.
Okay, I'm fine with this.
You've
We don't
played
have much
it, so
of a speech here.
I'm gonna give that one to you.
Yeah, I'll let you have your opinion on that one.
But obviously, this is one of those games where, like, I don't begrudge anyone who's like, this game is an A tier, this game is an S tier. That's just, I think that the room is uniformly pretty unenthusiastic about this one. And
It's understandable.
Let's be more enthusiastic about
ourselves.
the next one.
Let's go.
Ratchet and Clank.
S.
S.
No
question.
A. It's fine.
Any last objections?
This is a movie tie-in game that people enjoy.
Yeah, this should be like number one. It's the graphical powerhouse for the PS4 Pro. This took like more advantage of how the games look, but then the gameplay is just fun. I went through it 4 times because I couldn't get one trophy to activate, so I could get my platinum.
Was it
got
the
my
one
fourth
you have to
playthrough.
kill one of every or make one of everything dance with the Electron?
It's 100%
I
that
played
one.
through the game 3 times for that one, and guess what? The last thing I missed was
The boss.
the final boss of the game.
Yeah. But it's a fantastic game. The storytelling's really unique because you have Captain Quark telling the story time, and he's an unreliable narrator in it. So
yeah, the fourth wall breaking he does is phenomenal. The character development between Ratchet and Clank and Quark, and it's fun. It looks great. It plays wonderfully. I, for one, cannot wait for Rift Apart.
Yep, I think Rift Apart's probably going to be we've God of War.
That might be my game of the year, 2021.
Yeah, we'll see.
Got God of War coming out that year. So
yep.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Like these games are that good for me.
Yeah, I'm going to play it when Rift Apart gets a release date.
Oh, you haven't played Ratchet and Clank?
No, I own it. There's a lot of games.
It is.
I want to wait till it's relevant, like in the sense that Rift Apart will come out.
Well, and play it on the PlayStation 5 because my God, that should be gorgeous.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, you're gonna have such a good time. The load screens are gonna not exist.
Very excited about.
Do I have to play the PS2 ones to understand this one?
No, this is a reboot.
This is a reboot.
This is
a reboot of the first game, which was also released to tie in with a terrible film. Which there are cutscenes in this game that are taken from the movie, and you cannot tell because it just looks like the game. It's really, really good.
Yeah, if you haven't played this on PS5 or on PS4 and you're getting the PS5 with the collection, make this one of your first games.
This is without a doubt the greatest movie tie-in game to ever be released.
Yep, I think that's fair. Except Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Speaking of easy decisions, let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn.
C.
A. B.
Horizon's not good.
I was expecting you guys
I'll put it at B.
I was expecting you guys to go A for Ratchet and S for Horizon, not the other way around.
I think Horizon's good. I don't. There's aspects to the game I don't love. Like I don't love. I liked more of the bow action and taking characters out. I didn't love all the traps and everything, and I found that got overly complicated when fighting multiple creatures.
Monster Hunter
it felt like a proof of concept that the sequel is going to be so much better because it's going to be so much more polished, because this is the first time Guerrilla ever did anything outside of first person shooters. So I think it was fine. I think it got overhyped.
It's going to be great.
Yeah,
I don't think that this was great. Forbidden West is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree.
There was just a lot lacking for me in terms of the story. It was kind of lackluster. It had such a weird end where it just kind of ended, and I didn't realize it. I'm like, oh, that was it. Now what? And I don't know. It left a weird taste in my mouth for me personally.
It's really interesting to hear you guys say this because, as you know, I started this game up for the first time just like a few months ago, and I really, really gushed about it on the podcast. I talked about how I really loved all the cool quality of life stuff it does. I love shooting bow and arrows around. And actually what happened with that game is I entered into the first cauldron of the game, the kind of earliest cauldron that you can get to upon starting it up. And I kind of encountered a pretty rough patch late in the cauldron, and I haven't been back to it since. I do really want to get back to it. This is a game I'm going to get back to in a way that I'm not going to get back to something like The Last Guardian. But yeah, I think I have to agree with you on it being an A tier.
Yeah, I think A is the right spot for it.
We agreed on A because I was still leaning towards B.
I think it should be B.
Really?
AJ, you're the tiebreaker.
I'm okay with an A.
AJ, you're going to be the tiebreaker here.
Or Bloodborne.
For a game you've never played.
I've played Horizon. I just never got all the way through it. The dinosaur stuff was cool and whatnot, but yeah, like the traps got kind of complicated in a Monster Hunter like way, in a way that wasn't entirely fun. So I think I'm gonna have to give it a B.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Not what I expected.
Not what I expected that either. Street Fighter 5.
I haven't played it.
A B, it needs to go above Killer Instinct.
Does it though?
Yes. Yeah, it's a B.
For all the issues it had, we had a whole rehab about it.
It's at its core still a great fighting game, and it should be a B.
Okay, that's fine.
Everybody's golf.
Okay, it's a better fighting. It's still a better fighting game than Killer Instinct.
I haven't played Everybody's Golf.
Oh wait, Everybody's Golf should be an S tier.
No, it should.
I was going to say this seems like a game that you freaking love, Nathan. And I don't even mean that in like a mocking way. Like this seems like a game that everybody loved and that you probably love.
I have hundreds of hours into Everybody's Golf. Like 2 years in a row when Sony sent out my like most played games by hours, Everybody's Golf was in the lead with like 150 hours a year.
I mean, if that were the case, then we'd have Pure Pool on this list.
So
like, it's a great experience. It's a great experience to come back to and just play around, but it's not like it's a good golf game, but it's a golf game.
We can put it at A and just compromise.
I'm willing to do
A is where I was thinking, just based on the time I've put into it. It's great. It is a great game. I don't know if it's better than Horizon, but if you're saying S,
no, we can keep it at A. I think as far as games go, like it lets you create your own characters. It has really good golf mechanics. The courses are wide open. You can drive your golf cart around it. Heck, down the line you can. I bought it, but you can get a Chocobo and fly around the courses. Yeah.
You mean a Chocobo?
A Chocobo. That's what I said. Did I?
You said a Choboco. I think
close enough.
Chocobo.
Whatever, it's fine.
All right, Knack 2, Knack tier.
There we go. Quantum Break. So hold on. Before we talk about this game, this is a terrible piece of key art for this game, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just want to mention.
It's real people's faces because it's an FMV game.
And it should be reflected in where it goes, which is D. Or no, I think it should be C.
D?
I think it should be C. It was
I think
fine.
C is the right spot for it.
Yeah, it was fine. But it wasn't that great, especially compared to what Remedy has done since and done before.
They focused a lot on the wrong parts of what makes video games fun.
This was back when Microsoft was still like, yeah, we need to integrate our games with film
TV,
and entertainment and TV.
Yeah.
It was a fun experiment. It was novel at the time, but it's like,
you
needed to install like 70 gigabytes worth of FMV to play the damn game.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Which Gran Turismo is this? I can't even tell.
Gran Turismo Sport.
It's the only one that came out on the PS5.
Is it good? I don't know.
It wasn't good from what I understand.
I really enjoyed it, especially in VR. It had a great VR mode.
There was something I remember. There was something about it that was just like compared to previous iterations of Gran Turismo, it did not compare. I'm not.
No,
wish I could remember what that was.
I'm not a Gran Turismo guy, but I remember that feedback when it came out. Like it just, I've never been a sim heavy guy. I like my racers more arcadey, like Need for Speed. So Gran Turismo's never jived with me. But there was something about Sport which just never quite hit where people wanted it to hit. They're hoping that I think 7 comes out better, like C tier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, let's do C tier.
All right, are we gonna get contentious, AJ?
I'm gonna let you two argue about this because I haven't played this game. I'm gonna go get some.
Okay, listen. I'm the Halo 5 apologist here.
It's a good game. It's a bad Halo game. I think it should be C tier.
It's a good game. It's
I will compromise and put it at B if you really.
It's a fine Halo game. I would say B as well.
Fine, I'll agree with that.
Under Master Chief Collection. I think that's where it belongs.
You know what? Right. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Although I will say Halo 5 belongs in the Master Chief Collection, and
I agree with that as well. But I don't want them to add it to the Master Chief Collection because the Master Chief Collection is being held together by duct tape and dreams.
I mean,
adding another fucking game into it is just going to ruin it.
They have like improved the multiplayer experience on Halo 5 quite a bit over the past little while. Yeah, correct. Like, I feel like that's at least worth something, even if you are disappointed by the single.
I'm going to play it when I get my Series X because I don't have any way to play it right now.
God of War.
Yeah. S.
There isn't much debate here.
Yeah.
I think.
We should put it in Nat tier before Mitch gets back, and then we can move it back up.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Yeah, do it. Meme. All right. Sea of Thieves. I've not played it. AJ, you're probably the only one who has played it?
Yeah. No. Okay. So Sea of Thieves came out without a lot of fanfare, right? And people were like not going to get it. But this was the first true Game Pass game that kind of like truly like it proved what it was worth. And I put a good number of hours into Sea of Thieves, especially at the start. And my friend Ben, who was on the podcast, said that he was playing it a lot more recently too. the continual improvements and everything. It seems like because it's on Game Pass, it feels like a fairly decent free to play game, even though you can pay full price for it if you didn't have Game Pass. If you get a good crew of people together, going on missions, finding an enemy ship and completely bombarding them with your cannon fire to try and steal their treasure that they have, it's a very exhilarating experience, and I would put it somewhere between A and B.
Maybe
It's up
put
to
it on
you.
the
You're the
B
only.
then.
Yeah, I think it should be B.
Yeah.
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 Nobody else has an opinion?
No, none.
You all have these fancy new PCs that can run it. You should try it. It's on
I'm
Game
gonna try
Pass.
it.
So play it with me, and I'll probably rank it higher.
Same.
And no one's played it with me, so
Same.
Mitch,
All right.
are you good with all our lists?
I don't care. It's Xbox stuff. I'm
Yeah,
gonna eat
okay,
myself
great.
again.
All
We
right,
can talk
doesn't
about
care.
State of Decay 2.
All right,
State
we're
of
leaving.
Decay
All right.
2.
All right.
State of Decay 2.
Wait, what did I miss? Screw you guys. Move that.
Move what?
right,
Wait,
all right.
what
I'll
the
move
issue?
it.
I don't see what the issue
Quantum
is.
Break? You want Quantum Break at S? That's weird.
No, it's okay, guys.
No.
I moved the game that Mitch took issue with that was in NAC
yeah.
up to S tier.
Oh, it's
No.
fixed
now.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we're good.
Fix it.
Yep, we got it.
Perfect.
Fix it.
Oh wait, hold on a sec. I got the wrong game. There we go.
Fix it, or I end my recording and leave. Put God of War in S tier, you goddamn cowards. It's not even my favorite game of 2018, and I know it has to be S tier. Come
I
on.
mean, I know that it is an S tier game for sure.
Yes.
Like just
We were doing that to fuck with you, believe me.
yeah. Yeah.
State
No,
of Decay.
so
State of Decay 2, I think, is a C.
Yeah,
It's-
this was not
it's real
received well
jank.
at all, right?
It's jank
It's
as
actually
fuck.
another Game Pass game that's actually fairly decent. You can do multiple playthroughs with it. I enjoyed the one playthrough that I had, but I felt like I had beaten the game at that point, and I wasn't gonna play it again with different characters. So, yeah, where'd you guys say?
Either C. I honestly think it should be C.
Yeah, I think it's glitchy enough that it should be a C. If it were well polished and whatnot,
It's too jank to
it
go
would
any
be a
higher.
B. The jank brings it down.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Private Jeebus.
No, I'm not sorry. He has bad opinions.
It's like, this is a question, but what happens if State of Decay 3 comes out and is the similar type of jank and they don't fix the polish?
Then they're wrong.
It'll load a lot faster.
So it'd be jankier quicker?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get back to the jank faster.
All right, next S tier game, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Like, this is S.
Spider-Man.
This is my favorite game of the generation. So
S for Spider-Man.
It's up there for me. It's probably it's in my top 5 for sure.
I was going to say,
for the
I really like
generation.
Spider-Man, but should be A?
yes,
No, I think it
S.
should be
God
S.
damn it.
I think just
All right, S.
it is the ultimate superhero game. Just
It is
full
the
stop.
best. It is the best traversal in a game I've ever
Yeah.
experienced.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to go with
I'm
you
fine with
guys
that.
on this. Unfortunately, this is just one of those games where I had great ambitions to play it before Marvel's Avengers came out to be,
Cozy,
properly
I cannot
prepared for the
wait
Marvelness.
for you to. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
for you to play this
I'm
game.
going to get
so
back to it
excited
on the
for you.
PlayStation 5. I really love the traversal as well, and I talked about on the podcast about how, as somebody that has not been back to New York City in quite some time, it was really cool to swing through that city and be like, oh man, it's really neat to be in a fairly photorealistic depiction of this place that I love and have not been to in quite some time and probably will not be back to for quite some time. But yeah, I just did not play enough of it to arrive at an opinion. All right, Astrobot.
All right, Astrobot. I haven't played it.
It's an S tier. It
Yeah,
changed the way
that's what I've heard.
it's like Mario 64.
Cool.
It has me excited for a pack-in game that I'm going to get next week.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's how good the gameplay is in Astrobot Rescue Mission. And I
Agreed.
think some of the novelty of it not being in VR for Astro's Playroom will knock it a bit.
Yeah,
But I think
agree
what
with that.
Japan Studio did with Astrobot Rescue Mission reinvented the way I look at platformers.
It's
Forza
blown
Horizon-
every
Yeah,
person's head I put that on, it's blown them away. So yeah,
Yeah, it
easy.
just
Perfect.
you turn around and there's stuff to do.
Cool.
Yep.
What?
All right, Forza Horizon 4. I think this should be A.
I agree with A. I've actually played this game.
I need to play more of it, but I would agree with that.
It is the definitive racing game.
You can get the Warthog in it.
Cool. A.
Oh, I didn't know that. A. I think A.
Days Gone. C.
Hold on a second, Alex. Can I ask you a very quick question? Has there ever been a video game that has included a Halo character or vehicle or whatnot where you've been like, oh man, this actually really radically changes my opinion on this game?
No.
Never.
No.
Good.
Yeah, not even Soul Calibur.
Tie-in characters do not make the game.
Yeah. All right.
Except for
Days
Soul
Gone.
Calibur
C.
2.
Dead or Alive?
I haven't played Days Gone.
It's really meh.
I know. That's what I've heard.
Jeebus. Stop.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ,
Christ.
Wow.
Private Jeebus in the chat.
Having Sam Witwer go, motherfucking piece of shit. It's not a good game. It's really not. It's a C tier game. It's fine at best.
I
platinumed it. I put 60 hours into that.
Oh wow! So you should be an expert then.
Yeah, it's fine.
For our audio
only
listeners, Private Jeebus in the chat says S tier Days Gone is richer than The Last of Us 2.
I don't think that's correct, and I haven't played.
That is really wrong.
Okay, let's move on.
It's a C. It's
rare.
It could be a D.
Play.
No, I'll give it a C. It's
Rare Replay is a collection of old games that came out on old stuff, so it probably belongs in the A tier, like Master Chief Collection.
I would agree with that.
It's a lot of good on the Rare Replay collection.
Banjo 2, Perfect Dark, Cameo is like, then you've got the arcade ones like, what's that?
Sorry, I had to take that phone call. It was the pharmacy telling me that they got more flu shots, and so I actually get a flu shot tomorrow.
Did you read Private Jeebus in the chat and how he's a fucking crazy person?
I mean, Rare makes great games, but it's not S tier.
Go up further.
No.
Oh yeah, no. Days Gone is also. What the fuck? I mean, I'm gonna say something really controversial when we get to The Last of Us Part 2, but that's not a conversation for right now.
Yeah, please.
Like we can put Rare Replay at an A.
I think it should be along the Master Chief Collection.
I do wish this was available on Game Pass for PC.
Me too.
Oh yeah, for PC. Yeah.
I'd love to actually be able to play these games.
Yeah,
because I've never played any of them.
I've played a few of them. It's missing
Gears
Rare's
5.
best title, which was Diddy Kong Racing, though.
Gears 5.
Diddy Kong Racing so
Gears
good. But that's gonna be on the...
Gears 5 is an A.
I want to play this so bad.
Gears 5 is phenomenal, but I don't think it's S. I don't think it's an S, but I think it's a phenomenal game. I think it's an A. It is the best Gears of War in my opinion. Maybe just under 2. Maybe it might be the second
Gears
best.
1 through 3, so I really need to play this.
I think it's a return to form for Gears of War.
Is it on Game Pass?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't like.
Do you want to play it with me?
Yeah, maybe. I've never played one.
Three-player co-op. I'll play with you guys too. But yeah, like I didn't
Make
like
it a Press YYZ stream or something.
I didn't like 4. 5 is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've heard.
All right. Concrete Genie.
B.
Still in the cellophane wrap.
I really like Concrete Genie now. Review code provided by PlayStation because I got a review code for it. But yeah, no, it's a really fun game that tells a neat story, and I really like the graffiti mechanics in it. So it should be a B tier.
Cool.
I gotta get around to it. I got it as a Christmas gift, and I really hope my mom's not watching this episode because it was a Christmas gift for my mom, and it has not been opened this year. So sorry. Rude.
Okay.
All right.
This game I was ready to fight for, but I have to pee so badly that I think Death Stranding is an S tier game.
Of the next few games, what's a game that you have no opinion on, Alex?
Iron Man VR, Grounded, and Battletoads.
All right, we'll do those.
Okay.
We'll do those 3.
We'll do those.
All right, let's do Iron Man VR.
It's a Mitch.
For me, the novelty of Iron Man puts it at a B, but
yeah,
the game, I think it's a C.
I think it's a C as well. I think flying around as Iron Man's really good, and they nailed that for the most part.
But it's got some jank.
It's got some jank. There's no question about it. I think they nailed being Iron Man, but
I still want to
game
finish
itself. Yeah.
once I have a VR space set up again, I will finish it, as well as finish Astrobot. And I don't think I finished a VR game, so I got to finish a lot of VR games.
Yeah, and it didn't make me sick.
No, not at all.
I thought it was going to make me vomit.
No, I was in there for, I think my longest session might have been like 2.5, 3 hours, and I felt nothing.
Yeah, I did.
I don't normally get queasy from VR, but
they just figured out how to make it that good.
Yeah,
so I was impressed by that.
I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but my current setup where I record my streaming and podcast from is so cramped that it's actually really impeded my ability to play more PlayStation VR games. So I don't know if I'm ever going to get to this one unless I like significantly remodel my play/workspace in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you might move out and have a place that has like an office space.
Like that would have to happen pretty
like a game room or something. Yeah.
All right. Grounded.
I think AJ's the only one who played it.
Yeah, Grounded is fine. I didn't play all the way through it. I think it's a good novel concept. Especially like the perspective of being in pretty much Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I don't think it.
In its probably state in early access, I think it's probably a C.
Yeah, it's probably a C.
Maybe when the game does come out, gets a little more polished, gets a little more content.
Yeah, a full release, whatever. Yeah.
All right. I thought this one was actually going to rank a little bit higher, considering how much good positive buzz it got at the time of its release. But
we haven't heard much since then.
Yeah, it was cool the week it came out, and then nobody talked about it since.
Yeah.
Battletoads.
Another one I have to play.
I haven't played it either. It got actually, I was surprised, decent reviews.
Yeah, people.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that.
Alana Pierce of Internet
she really liked
fame.
it.
She really liked it.
I gotta get to it, but I have nothing to say right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, me neither.
Based on what I've heard, it's probably a B tier.
I'd give it closer to a
maybe
C. I think a C if anything. Talking Battletoads, Alex.
This is one of those games where I feel kind of bad to give this one a C because it really seems like it kind of shattered people's expectations. But yeah, I don't know if it can sit. But then again, on B tier, we have games like Halo 5 and Concrete Genie, which feel like they're kind of on the same tier as Battletoads.
No.
I think the problem here is we just haven't played enough of it to give a good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Alex, if anyone wants to play Battletoads with me, let me know.
You're back, so we can talk about Death Stranding.
Death Stranding is an S tier game. It is an S tier game. It is a masterpiece. It is not perfect, but Death Stranding is a masterpiece.
I haven't played it, so I have no opinion. I do want to try it, though.
I watched Loki Mike play a few hours of it, and none of it made sense.
They took traversal, which is usually not very fun in games, and they made it a whole mechanic, and it's actually invested. The entire community aspect of Death Stranding is something that I haven't really experienced in a game before, other than maybe Dark Souls, but Death Stranding takes it to that next level of everything you do in the game is going to help someone else later, and everything that other people are going to do is eventually going to help you, and it's incredible. This is just from the gameplay alone. Like, I'm not even talking about story or anything, because yes, it's Kojima, it's convoluted nonsense, but I love that shit. But also, just from a gameplay perspective, they took traversal and made it interesting.
I'm going to briefly activate spoiler mode.
All right, spoiler mode. Alrighty.
So
go. Play the game.
Here's the deal. While I was playing this game, a lot of people were talking about how, hey, the game does not get very good until you reach the 4th chapter of the game. And then after that, it just kind of really hits its stride. I actually really enjoyed the game prior to chapter 4, and then when I got to chapter 4, which is the chapter where you end up in this like World War II-esque hellscape where you're battling ghostly soldiers that are controlled by what's-his-face's character, I really hated that chapter, so much so that it honestly turned me off from going back to the rest of the game. I do want to return to it at some point, but like, Alex, can I ask you, one,
yes,
what did you think of that section of the game?
Okay, yes, I do think that the moments in I can't remember what that beach is specifically
called. Try to be vague because
we
haven't played it.
But like the moments when it's a boss fight with you're not going to remember this, with Cliff.
Yeah.
Those moments, yes, they are not very good because they're very different to the rest of the game, but those moments are not that long, and everything else around it is so wonderful. And then the story context to why you're there and what is actually happening, I think makes up for the sort of lackluster shooting gallery type stuff.
And like,
that's at least my opinion
too. Like, do you agree with the sentiment that it's after that chapter that the game really hits its stride? Because again, I was in this weird space where I was actually really enjoying the game up until that point, and that kind of killed my interest in it. Is there an even better game that awaits me after that, or is it?
See, I thought that the game was really slow. It took me about 4 hours before it clicked for me. But once the mechanics click, then you're like, oh, this is incredible. Here's the thing. As I understand, Death Stranding is going to be very divisive. You're either going to love it or hate it. I fully get that. I am on the camp that loves it. And so because of that, I am going to champion it as much as I can, because I think it is a truly unique experience that I think is in some ways one of the most unique games that's on this entire list, at least of the ones that I've played.
So
unique doesn't make it good.
It was unique, enjoyable, and
really quick.
All right, we're good.
Really quick. Just with, I won't spoil anything. Don't worry.
We're out of spoiler mode, by the way, so you technically can't. Otherwise, you got to
legally not allowed
flag polling.
Yeah. So they took the traversal thing and kind of made it super interesting, right? But it still ended up for me being that open world problem where I got distracted by all the other things around me, and all the side quest deliveries you could pick up and do, as well as trying to complete the highway. And I got completely distracted by that and just stopped progressing until I just didn't pick it up again. So yes, it tried to do something different in that regard, but it still fell into a lot of the same traps. And even still, the any interaction that I had with actual BTs, I found to be interfering with what I really wanted to do, which was explore more. And if they had just focused more on the exploratory aspect of it and less trying to hinder your ability to do that, I think it would have stuck around a little longer for myself. So
yeah, I'm willing to compromise on this. I understand that my opinion of this game is a lot higher than a lot of people's. I am okay at putting it at A. I think Death Stranding is still a phenomenal experience that everyone should at least try and see if it clicks.
I think it belongs in the same tier as Uncharted and Gears 5. And
yeah. You know what? I'm
okay. I think that's fair.
I don't think it belongs in the same tier as Uncharted. I think it belongs in the same tier as. Yeah, that's true too.
All right, Final Fantasy.
Again, this is what that like. Sorry, one more. Yeah, you know. Yeah, A. But,
I mean, I vote S alongside Mitch.
Yeah. Alex, if you say S here, then I'll say S for Persona 5 Royal.
Fine.
Okay. All right.
Yay.
All right, let's put Final Fantasy.
This game's phenomenal. It's one of my favorite games of the year. It's one of my favorite
Persona
games.
Persona 5 Royal goes at S as well.
S, yes.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
I've
not played this
I haven't played much of it, but what I've played is very phenomenal.
Like, I feel like it should be A or S based on what I've heard about it, because people speak really highly of it.
People hold it about on par as the original, right?
I would put it
I think some people look at it higher.
Yeah,
I think I'll put it at A just because
I mean, from what I've seen, again, this is one I need to get back to playing. I would probably say it's S tier for me personally, but if we're gonna concede to A, then
you've probably played more than me, so I will trust your.
No, I literally have not booted up this game. I was waiting until I got Game Pass for it.
Okay, then let's put it at A, because I've only played. I think it's on par with the original. At least I haven't gotten far enough to really be like.
See, I think if that's the case, better. I don't know. Never mind.
All right,
go ahead.
Ghost of Tsushima.
S.
So having not played it myself but also having listened to a lot of podcasts and stuff, I would say before all the recent updates, as its standalone experience, it would probably be an A tier. But after hearing everything they're adding to it, it probably goes up.
I'll agree. I think it's
spoilers. This is my game of the year.
It's Insomniac's best, or not Insomniac. It's Sucker Punch's best game by 100%. By far, and so I'm cool putting it at S.
All right. Finally, last but not least, The Last of Us Part II.
S.
A.
S. Cozy, where are you falling?
An A, between an A and an S.
Here's the thing: is I do still think that the first game is better. Like story, like story wise, I think the first game is better. So,
but the game itself is
but S. I think more about the story of the first one than I do, or in the characters of the first one.
I think that because I have a foot in the S pond, I have to put it in S just because that's how voting works. Unless Nathan, you have anything to chime in with?
I haven't played it, so
it's better than Uncharted 4.
Give an opinion.
I think it's better than Uncharted 4.
Yeah, it's better than Uncharted.
So that's why I would put it at S.
Can I say something else?
Sure.
I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think Master Chief Collection's a better game than Uncharted 4, and it should be an S tier game.
Where were you like 35 minutes ago?
I was pondering, and I was also looking at the fact that every game that we have in S tier is a PlayStation game, and I feel bad for the Xbox boys on the podcast.
I mean, we argued for them to be where they are, so
okay. Yeah, I was just trying to be nice, but whatever.
If you think of this as like a good roundup of like the generation in terms of exclusive, it still kind of fits because the Xbox got off to such a rocky start and had to gain ground, and they've only really just picked up by the end. They started picking up by the end, and they only recently started buying studios that you might actually care about. Yeah. So
they did it the same way that they did it when they introduced themselves into the generation, by force, by using Microsoft money.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the whole reason why the Xbox became a thing and was actually a household name, was because Microsoft forced it.
Yeah. I do think Titanfall should be higher. That's my only edit I would make.
Does anyone have any other gripes on the list?
No.
No, not really. I think there are some things I'm surprised about. Like, I was not expecting Ratchet and Clank to rank that high, but nothing that I think is really egregiously out of place.
I would put Rare. I mean, I know I left for it. I would argue Rare Replay with old game is old and putting that as a B tier game. But
we said that it had to be on the same level as Master Chief Collection because they're both just phenomenal values for what they're worth.
But valued just because a game, like you could say a game that was pirated and had a card of like 450 games on it is great value. But if they're not great games, and is the value really there?
I think part of the
how many games in the Rare Replay do you need to play today?
I think it's at least on par with the same number in Master Chief Collection.
I mean, fine.
I don't want to argue about this anymore. I think our list is good.
So for those who are listening in, we will be sure to put this list out on Twitter once we've posted the audio version of the show. Let everyone know what we saw. Yeah. Just to recap the S tier titles, the games that are the games of this generation on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are Ratchet & Clank, God of War, Spider-Man, Astrobot Rescue Mission, aka the best reason to own a PSVR, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royal, Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last of Us Part Dos.
Can you tell that we like PlayStation?
Can you tell the PlayStation had the better generation for games?
They just had a better generation in general.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. It's wrapped. That is our first top tier. If you have any feedback on the way that went, please let us know.
Or more things for us to rank.
Yeah, or more ideas for things we can rank, because this was a lot of fun.
Yes. I was going to ask, if anybody here has any tiers of their own that they've created that they want to share with us, feel free to do so now. I don't think that we are going to get any this time around, but hey, yeah, again, this is something we're still experiencing with.
It's not on the list, but where would people put Detroit Become Human? I was just curious.
A.
B.
I put it at A. I think it's the best Quantic Dream game. Best best game of that style. Like just period. Full stop.
My wife and I played through it together, and like we had a really good time.
I enjoyed it. I
put it on B.
I think Detroit is the best possible. Like it's the ultimate version of that style of game.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, please.
Wait, hold on.
Okay,
hold on a second. We might actually have a tier list coming in hot from one Private Jeebus.
Oh,
no, his opinion's trash. I don't want to put it on this platform.
We can talk about that.
God.
Yeah, we can take that one offline because we're over.
You know
2
what?
hours.
I think that's a good idea. We'll make that the post show. All right. Well,
all right.
So
Mitch,
thank you for tuning in to this episode of Press YYZ. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to check us out on Twitch, rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Give us a follow on Twitter at Press YYZ, where we keep you up to date with the latest news and happenings about the show. And of course, you can find the rest of the crew all over the place. Cozy, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/AlexCozina and on Twitch at twitch.tv/CozyBearLive. Remember that I'm going to be hosting a 12-hour Extra Life marathon stream this Friday, November 6th, starting at 1 p.m. EST, going until 1 a.m. EST.
Ballant, where are you on the internet?
Instagram blatantly Alex and Twitter blatantly _Alex.
Mr. Fraser, AJ, where are you?
You can find me sitting on my keyboard hitting F5 on these U.S. presidential election results for the next few days, just hoping we get out of this nightmare.
I think we're going to.
Let's hope it goes that way. If you want more on that, you can find me all over the internet as well at Times Hero, capital T, capital H.
The man of the hour, the Big Mac, Nathan McInerney, where are you?
Yo, you can follow me _NMac on Twitter, and I've changed my Instagram handle to be that as well for consistency purposes. So if you have ideas of what I can Instagram, because I'm an old man, I don't understand how it works, let me know, and I'll try and do that more.
We will have to update the Streamlabs bot with that information, but in the meantime, you can find me at twitter.com/Mr. Mitch George, Instagram at Mr. Mitch George, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Mitch George. Thank you for being with us, and until next time, thanks for playing.
Take care, guys.
Adios.